in is speed, pace, get it done fast.
Confidence.
L'onestà.
Eenvoud.
Color.
Communication.
Een Macintosh computer te hebben.
Kwaliteit.
What's out? Big bureaucracies.
Overpopulatie. Mexican food.
I don't really like the color gray.
I think computers are in because they're coming up with more things, more technology.
La libertà che il computer dà è totale, perché una volta c'erano gli acquerelli, la carta, i pennelli, le matite, tante piccole cose. Adesso tutto questo è tutto concentrato in un unico set, che è il computer, e quindi questo consente il massimo della libertà.
Travel abroad is it?
Working too hard.
Nou, we hebben eigen applicaties gemaakt waarmee we heel goed grensdocumenten kunnen maken. En daardoor communiceren we beter ook met buitenlandse klanten.
Om concurrerend te zijn, dat is het belangrijkste van alles.
Per me ciò che in l'amore, l'eleganza e la simpatia. L'egoismo, la guerra, la cattiveria. Out. Tutto out.
Si può vedere da questo. Questo è un disegno elettronico e questo invece è un disegno fatto col pennello. Io credo che ci sia la continuità, quella di cui parlavamo prima, fra tradizione e nuove tecnologie, ma la sostanza è restata quella, perché è rimasto uguale l'approccio.
コミュニケーションがイン、アウトは自己中心主義。
マッキントッシュっていうのは日本語も確かに英語も両方同じソフトを使えます。それは非常に我々にとってやりやすくて、日本語で日本向けに文章を書いたり、逆にそれをトランスレートしてアメリカ人に伝えたり両方できる。それは非常にありがたいコンピューターです。
そうですね、ラーニングは私のモットーですけれども、常に若くチャレンジングにできていると思います。
I think what's in is energy efficient homes. I think what's out is just polluting the air.
Ik denk dat het heel erg belangrijk is voor mensen om zichzelf te uiten. Ook om andere dingen die in hun leven gebeuren, om dat te kunnen uiten.
Parce qu'il y a trop de médias, trop de télévision, trop de magnétophones. Finalement, c'est toujours les produits les plus simples et les plus clairs et nets qui plaisent le plus.
Quality time.
Color. Graphics and animation.
Mobile computing.
Motorini.
Essere perfetti fisicamente.
Greed.
Mafia.
Big cars.
Windows en uit.
That's what you're working for. Working for yourself, trying to make yourself happy.
I just want to be respected.
I think people definitely need freedom, have flexibility to work on the beach or at home.
Technology is a great thing because it helps nations advance, it helps us explore galaxies in space, and they can be fun.
I don't know about this generation. In mine, and I'm almost 70, it was very important to work hard, but it was important to have dreams while you did it. You had your eye on the plow and on the stars as well.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Buer, and I'm the System 7.1 product manager. And what I'm going to talk to you about is a new version of System 7 that's coming out called System 7.1.
Hi, we're here from Apple Computer to see Tom Barrett here.
Okay, just a moment.
As a computer consultant for a lot of small and mid-sized companies, I've been through the upgrade game quite a few times, and frankly, between System 6 and System 7, my clients are comfortable with System 6, I'm comfortable with System 6.
For System 6 users, it's upgrade now. There's really some advantages to going to System 7. There's all of the features of publish and subscribe, the features of aliasing, file sharing, really a way to make your Macintosh work much better than under System 6.
And I'm a little reluctant to recommend anything that has a .0 behind it.
So really, for those people who were .0 phobic or said they'd never upgrade to a .0 release of an operating system, now's the time to go. We fixed the bugs. There are a lot of benefits to System 7. It's much easier to use, it's easy to install, it's easy to customize your desktop to the way you want it.
System 7 does have a lot of nice features, and there's a lot of new software coming out that can take advantage of it.
System 7 allows you to work with the Macintosh in the way you want to work.
ちょっとすいません。
はい。
このマッキントッシュのポータブル使ってみてどうですか？
マッキントッシュはいいんですけど、ちょっと大きすぎて重いんですよね。
Every time Apple brings out a new CPU, they bring out a new version of the system software.
We've heard that a lot.
That means I've got to go around to all the CPUs on the network, change them for compatibility.
And what we've done is with 7.1, we've provided a new way to support CPUs.
That takes time, and it's a real pain in the neck.
We support the CPU in the current version of the operating system. And the way we do this is by shipping something called a system enabler, which ships as part of the system software that allows the CPU to simply plug into the base of the current operating system. One version to support. When a new CPU comes out, that CPU simply plugs into your network. It's also, for the System 7 users, it's a minor update. There's the fonts folder, so if you're somebody in the desktop publishing market and you use a lot of fonts, this is for you. And for customers wanting to take advantage of future capabilities such as AppleScript or OCE or QuickDraw GX or language modules, System 7.1 will be the base system software to support these technologies. If you're a network administrator or you're supporting a large group of Macintoshes, the tune-ups are integrated into the base of the system software. Much easier to support.
マッキントッシュにパワーブックあるの知ってますか？
でもそれは漢字はできないんでしょ？
And 7.1 represents the introduction of Apple's WorldScript technology and also provides System 7 for the Japanese, the Chinese, and the Korean markets.
This client has an interesting situation. They have offices here in Seattle and in Japan.
For the Japanese market, 7.1 means they get System 7. They currently don't have System 7, which means the Powerbooks and the Quadras don't ship in a Japanese system.
So even if I want to standardize on System 7, I can't because they don't have a kanji version.
Well, with the advent of TrueType into the Japanese market, it gives us the ability to create great-looking text and great-looking kanji characters at any size. WorldScript is a technology that makes it much easier to support different languages in the base of our operating system. Well, WorldScript, what it does is it provides an enhanced way for applications and input methods to talk together, such that they don't need to be bundled to provide inline support. This makes it much easier for us to get our hardware and our software products out into different languages and different markets much faster. WorldScript not only provides the ability to have all these languages supported in one operating system and in separate documents, but it also has the ability to support this in one document, such that I can enter and display any language in this document and know that the operating system will support it. In the future, it'll be as easy for me to add a language to my system as it is adding a font today.
マッキントッシュのパワーブック漢字もできるんですよ。
あ、そうですか。
ちょっとご覧になります？
ぜひ。わあ、見て見て。
あら、ほんとすごいわね。
漢字もできるんですか、これは。Your best friend, would you recommend 7.1 to him?
Absolutely.
System 7's been out for almost a year and a half now. Time sure flies, isn't it? But we recognize that it's been a very global product, very important product for Apple. We did some survey, a market research survey this past summer and found out how we're doing with System 7. And we found out that this past July, 4 million Macintosh users had upgraded to System 7, which is about half the installed base. So a little over a year, we've been able to get half the install base up to System 7. We think that's a tremendous accomplishment. We're very happy with that. Even with all of Microsoft's success in selling Windows, they've been only able to get about 10% of the DOS install base up to Windows. So that gives you a measure of comparison. We're doing very well there. As you saw from the, thanks. As the video in the beginning noticed, Apple's a very worldwide company. And we've, in the System Software Marketing Group and System Software Engineering, we've tried to deliver global system software products. And we've been able to convert the system software in many languages across the world, such as Hebrew and Arabic, for example, all the European languages. But that's resulted in a lot of engineering effort, development time, and delays in producing System 7 in many markets worldwide. Well, if we're going to be a really, truly global company, we can't stand that for much longer. And one of the focuses of System 7.1 is to provide a truly worldwide, world-ready version of system software. And that'll enable us to ship System 7 in many times for the first time in many countries. For example, as this slide shows, System 7.1 represents System 7 for the very first time in the Japanese, Chinese, and Korean markets. And they're very excited about getting System 7 and all the benefits, particularly TrueType is very important to them because their languages is so important on how it looks. With the new technology, WorldScript gives the Macintosh the inherent capability to handle any language across the world, so that we'll be able to create the same version of system software essentially and ship that all across the world. That means that we'll have simultaneous availability of all of our software products, and it means that our hardware products can ship all across the world as well. If you think about the fact that System 7 doesn't ship in Japan right now, think about that a little bit. Well, that means that Powerbooks and Quadras really don't ship in Japan either. And despite all of our success that Fred talked about in Japan, that's been without Quadras, for example. The top-of-the-line Japanese Macintosh you can buy is a 2FX, and because we haven't been able to deliver this capability. So 7.1 gives us that capability now. It also represents the next step in the System 7 story. We've improved font integration in the system by providing a new folder called the Fonts folder, where all your fonts go. Yay. That will be a lot less confusing for people and also solve some problems in the Japanese market with font handling. We've also integrated QuickTime into the system so that when you buy 7.1, you get QuickTime 1.5 with it. And so that'll give everybody this great capability that Kip showed us earlier. We've improved the overall stability of the product by including the System 7 tune-up and integrating that within the base. And we have a few new products, which I'll explain in just a minute. Finally, we have a new method of supporting CPUs with System 7.1. As you know, in the past, every time we've rolled out new hardware products, we've had to change the version of system software every time, like version 7.0.1, which was just special software for Powerbooks and Quadras. Well, we've got a new mechanism for supporting that now with 7.1. 7.1 will remain unchanged and really ignorant of new hardware platforms, and all the new hardware platforms will contain a special file that provides all the code that they need in order to work with 7.1. So 7.1 will remain unchanged over time, and the new hardware products can come out much faster, and this will be very important for our developers and customers because they'll be able to standardize on the same version of system software. System 7.1 is a big story in the Japanese, Chinese, and Korean markets. Like I mentioned, it's System 7 for the first time for them. They're very excited. We're also going to aggressively pursue our System 6 users and get the other half of the installed base upgraded up to System 7.1. For existing System 7 users, it's really a minor update. There aren't a lot of new changes, but we have some easy ways for them to upgrade as well. As you can see here, and this packaging shows that we have a new packaging design consistent with the font pack. This is the personal upgrade kit available for System 6 users who want to upgrade. We have a new multi-pack for 10 users to upgrade to System 7.1. And for existing System 7 users, we have a new kit. You call Apple directly at 1-800 number for $35. You can order it over the phone with your credit card and get System 7.1 very quickly and easily. We also have volume license programs for large corporate customers. They've been asking that for a long time. So I'd like to give you a quick demo of 7.1, and I asked our engineering team, and what should I show all the employees about 7.1? I could show them kanji and kanji talk and the version of System 7 there, or Arabic and whatever. And they said, well, why don't you show them everything? Why don't we combine and create a special system for you that's got everything on it, all the languages that we've written. So we've got that special. This is a special configuration that I'd like to share with you. And as you can see on this system, we've got Arabic, Kanji, and Spanish there in the background, all at the same time on the same computer. But we can even take this a step further and combine them all in a single document. So you can have all kinds of languages within a single document. And this system has all kinds of crazy languages. We've got Russian here, Arabic, Hebrew, Japanese, Korean. Of course, I don't know any of these languages, but the ease of this is just incredible. As you can see here, if I decided to start typing in Arabic, I just select Arabic right here, and I have no idea what I'm typing, but it's that easy. You just start typing in.
Well, I'm Brian Lawley, the product manager for Type and Text, and I'm from the System Software Marketing Group. And over the last couple of months, we've been building a new product line here at Apple. You've probably seen it in the catalogs that you get at your house, Mac Warehouse and Mac Connection, and in your local software reseller. It's called the System Software Utilities and Extensions product line. And it's got a number of products, Mac PC Exchange, At Ease, the QuickTime Starter Kit, and System 7. And I'm here today to talk about the newest product in that product line. And that product is the Apple Font Pack for Macintosh. If I could have my slides up on the screen. Now, when we brought out System 7 to our user base and to the Macintosh community, one of the great things that we provided to them was TrueType. And the great thing about TrueType is, as a user, you never have to think about what size fonts you have installed anymore. You just automatically get great looking text on your screen and on your printout, regardless of the size that you choose. And when we went out and started talking to customers about it, they said, you know, this TrueType stuff is great, and System 7 currently comes with 21 TrueType fonts. They said, but you know, I think we're sort of ready to take that next step and really venture past the standard set of fonts. How could Apple help us do that? So we decided to create the Apple Font Pack. And the Apple Font Pack is really the easy way to make your work look great. It's 43 very high quality TrueType fonts from the world's leading type foundries, companies like Linotype and Monotype and Bitstream. And the idea here was to put together a collection of fonts that really complemented what you get with your system software. We made it really easy to install. You just run an automatic installer. In less than 5 minutes, you got 43 new fonts on your system. And as part of it, we wanted to make sure our customers could get the full benefit of the fonts. And we know a lot of people sort of know what fonts do, but they don't know how to use them. So we include this booklet. It's called Getting Started with Type. It's a 32-page book on how to use the fonts. It's got all kinds of cool examples. And in the back, there's a chart of how to use the symbol characters that are included. And of course, we wanted to offer it at a pretty aggressive price. So we decided to price it at $99 suggested retail price, which for 43 licensed high-quality fonts, that's a pretty good deal. So to give you an idea of what some of the faces look like, I just put together a couple of quick slides. There's some really cool display and headline faces. Some new text faces. And this is my personal favorite. It's a new symbol font called Zeal, and I think you're going to see it popping up all over signs outside of people's cubes at Apple. It's got everything from horoscope characters to the ability to create blocked letters. It also allows you to, by typing in character combinations, have the system automatically backspace over the previous character and type in a circle with a slash, so the universal no symbol. And in this case, I typed in a picture of a cigarette, and then I typed a no smoking symbol doing that. So just to summarize, the Apple Font Pack, the easy way to make your work look great. It's great TrueType fonts at a great price. In addition, the 43 fonts in the Apple Font Pack and the 21 fonts in system software are now also going to be bundled in all of our network laser printers, the 2F, the 2G, and the Personal Laser Writer NTR. So that means all the customers, the hundreds of thousands who buy those, as well as all the people who buy the Apple Font Pack, get all 64 fonts. So it's really a huge benefit for our customers. They get a great new set of fonts to work with. And these fonts are available now. Before I wrap up, I wanted to give you guys an example of how you might use Zeal. We're all a little bit enthusiastic about Macintosh. And oftentimes, if you're like me, you end up talking about why Macintosh is better than Windows, and you have to use a lot of verbal. You have to say it verbally a lot. So I wanted to show you how you might be able to use these fonts to graphically convey your message. Like, for instance, if you start talking about performance, if someone asks you about performance on Windows, you might do something like this. Or another example might be something like a dinosaur. But you know, if you're really not patient, if you're like me, you'll just want to say, hey, you know, Windows sucks, you shouldn't use it anyways, and do something like this.
Hey, wait a minute. There's more software news. I'm Doug Campbelljohn, the Product Marketing Manager for QuickTime, and we've been doing some things to QuickTime that I really think you're going to enjoy. Introducing QuickTime 1.5. Now, in addition to the photo CD support that you've already seen, in QuickTime 1.5 we've got a new compression scheme called Compact Video. What Compact Video gives you is approximately double the playback performance that you got out of QuickTime 1.0. So you can get 320 by 240 windows playing back at the same frame rate, or get up to 30 frames per second at the smaller window sizes. But there's even more. With the addition of third-party cards such as Supermax Digital Film Card or NewVideo's IQ DVI card, you can get 30 frames per second, full-screen, full-motion video. So what that means is you have a choice. You can either get up to quarter-screen video and compact video, or plug in a card to get full-screen, full-motion video, all running in any existing QuickTime application. So that's QuickTime 1.5. Photo CD support, larger software video, full-screen hardware video, and a lot more. And you know what happens here.
So I'm here to talk to you today about QuickTime 1.5. You know, multimedia is one of those hard-to-define buzzwords that's been in the industry for years, and I'm not sure anyone really understands what it means or what it's good for. So about a year ago, Apple decided to clear up the confusion in the industry by taking kind of a bold move. We shipped a product. Less than a year ago, we shipped QuickTime 1.0, and it's been very successful in acceptance in the industry. We have over 100 applications which support QuickTime today, and we have about 200 other applications who have announced support for it. But back in the engineering group where I come from, we were kicking back and thinking, you know, we can do better. So next week we're going to announce QuickTime 1.5, which makes QuickTime bigger and better than ever, and really makes multimedia fun and useful, I think. So let me show you some of the things that we can do. Let's start out with a movie. What we have here is Peter Gabriel's latest video, Digging in the Dirt, currently in rotation on MTV. Now I know what you're thinking. You're going, yeah, Kip, yeah, QuickTime's great, but that movie's kind of small, isn't it? Well, we're up to the challenge. So with QuickTime 1.5, movies can be 4 times the size and twice as fast, just like this. And if you have the right hardware, it can be double this again, so you can have full motion, full screen video, like that. All right, so now I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's great. But I have a VCR at home. I have a television set. I can see movies there. Why do I want to have QuickTime? Well, what QuickTime has is it has an architecture for any kind of media that you want to throw at it, not just video and not just sound. With QuickTime 1.5, we added a bunch of enhancements to allow you to put any kind of data in there. One thing we did was we added support for text. With QuickTime 1.5, you can add any kind of text to a document or a movie as you want. You can cut and paste it, you can edit, you can search it, and it opens up a lot of possibilities. The next thing I want to show you is the latest video from Michael Penn called See the Doctor. What we've done is we added a track that has the lyrics to the song. So now you can finally tell what these guys are actually saying. And of course, it's a Macintosh, so you can do stuff like that. That's pretty good. And You know, this is going to open up a lot of new market opportunities for us, and the one I think is most exciting for us is QuickTime karaoke. Let me just give you a little sample. The doctor, don't call me anymore. Okay, Michael Penn has nothing to worry about for me. Not to be outdone by all these famous rock stars, the QuickTime team put together their own rock video. And this is a kind of a takeoff on Michael Jackson's black and white video, and I think it speaks for itself. All the members of the QuickTime engineering team, and I think you'll agree with me, we have the palest engineers in the industry. Okay, so another feature of QuickTime 1.5 is integrated support for Kodak Photo CD. Mark Auerbach is going to talk to you a little bit more about that in detail. But basically what Photo CD allows you to do is take a picture with your home camera, send the film into Kodak. A week later, they send you back a compact disc, a CD, that you can put into your Macintosh. On that disc, they've scanned all of your photographs and arranged them with a bunch of different resolutions so you can kind of scroll through them and watch them on your television set and stuff. When we first saw this technology in engineering, the first thing that came to our mind was a scene from the movie Blade Runner. I'm sure if you're all familiar with that movie, but it's set in the year 2019. Harrison Ford is a detective. He finds some photographs of some suspects, and he puts them into his personal computer, which I hope is a Macintosh in 2019, and uses the computer to scan through it at different resolutions, and he nails his suspect that way. Well, with QuickTime 1.5 and the Photo CD technology, you can do a very similar thing today. Here we have the patented Blade Runner interface and a picture of a young gentleman you can see, and he's got pair of glasses on. You can see there's something reflected in the glasses, and we can just zoom in on that. And we can go in a little bit. And as we go in, we kind of see, well, you know, it looks like there's somebody reflected in the glasses. Keep moving in. You can kind of see up here. Let's track in over here. This looks like there's a crowd of people or something. I think if we go all the way in here, you can see there's a bunch of people, and it looks like, you know, isn't that Bill Gates eating a hot dog right there? Maybe not. Let's scroll around. You can see the woman reflected. Now remember, this is all being reflected in this child's sunglasses. So we can scroll up here now, and you can see up in the corner now, it looks like a sky tram, like an aerial tramway. We'll go down here a little bit. You can kind of see there's a Bavarian village. And if you zoom in a little bit more, you can kind of see there's a spire right there. I think we're at Disneyland. That's the Magic Kingdom castle. And this is all reflected in his glasses. And it's actually pretty amazing. And one last thing I'd like to show in this picture, just because it's kind of interesting. If we zoom in down close here, you notice this woman doesn't have any legs. Magic Kingdom, I guess. So, QuickTime 1.5 lets you see live video on your Mac. It brings integrated Photo CD support. So basically what we have is the computer of the year 2019 today. Now our friends up in Redmond, Washington are peddling computers for the 90s. We got computers for the 21st century. So future is now. Go forward. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mark Auerbach. I'm the Desktop Macintosh Product Manager. And today I'm going to be introducing you to a whole new line of Macintosh products in the mid-range. So welcome to this press briefing, and let's get started.
So what can you tell me about the new product this fall, Mark?
Well, in the mid-range CPU line, we have a brand new addition to the Macintosh 2 family, the Macintosh Iivx, offering more performance and more flexibility to the high end of that customer range. Now, as you can see, these fit into the product line this way. I mentioned the LC2 and the 2SI. The 2VI is more flexible and has 20% more performance than the 2SI, so it fits in just above it. The 2CI is our current offering above that, and then we're introducing today the 2VX, which has a range of performance improvement above the 2CI of between 10 and 30%, depending on the kind of application work you're doing.
So how do we intend to position this between the SI and the CI?
The 2VX will fit in above the 2CI, being more powerful and more flexible. It'll actually form the high end of the mid-range product line.
Oh, hi, Bruce, hang on a second. Hey, Greg, this needs to go to the printer
busy.
over in Tokyo. Hang on a second. This needs to go to Tokyo overnight immediately. It's that sales brochure they're waiting for.
So you're using SideQuests?
Yeah, you know, we are. Our files have gotten so big from what we are using on our scans, and everybody's using SideQuest that we're using it, we love it, it accommodates our needs.
For the first time in the mid-range of the product line, you'll be able to put a 5 1/4 inch device right inside your Macintosh.
It's going to go like this.
There's an interchangeable CD drive.
Do you think that's working?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I can show you on this piece better. I don't break it.
Slow down.
You don't see this detail.
I think this is working.
So we have room inside the unit that you can't see for a hard drive, which we normally include, and the super drive. And we've also added this space for a 5 1/4 product.
A 5 1/4 inch device, what do you mean by that?
We expect one of the most popular uses for this slot will be SideQuest. SideQuest is really the de facto standard in the industry for transferring files from a DTP site, from one DTP site, desktop publishing site, to another.
That would be great. You know, look at my desk. It's got all this equipment all over the place. If it was in my hard drive, I'd love it.
But probably the most exciting thing from Macintosh customers' point of view is the ability to put CD-ROM in here.
George, it does look like a bomb went off on it.
It does look like that, Bruce, doesn't it? Yeah, it's kind of standard for my office.
What's all the stuff on your desk?
Oh, a pile of journals here, a pile of medical articles and reprints that I have to file.
Why is this on your desk? It's now on CD.
Well, that's a good question. I do go up to the library and use the CD. Some of this stuff is available on CD now, but it's a couple floors away. And
So why don't you get one for your office?
Well, I would if I had a place to put it.
In fact, this is the first time that Apple will be offering a CD-ROM drive as an option. And not just any drive, but the Apple CD300, a double-speed drive. And that means that you'll be able to, we think, launch applications directly from the CD-ROM. Your QuickTime movies played from CD-ROM will be much more fluid and smooth. And transferring files when you have to from the CD-ROM to the hard drive will be much faster.
George, what would your response be if Apple came out with a Macintosh with a built-in CD-ROM?
It'd be fantastic. I could get rid of this whole mess.
Photo CD is a format that will be launched by Kodak worldwide in September. And this format allows you to take your roll of film into an authorized photo CD developer and have it turned into not just slides, prints, negatives, but also a CD-ROM of those images. When I open up and look at the 100 photographs that are in any particular resolution, I don't just see the names. I see small thumbnail images called thumbnail sketches of each photograph that's on the disk. This is a QuickTime movie, so we actually have our photo CD file talking to our QuickTime file, and then we're using Apple events and other things that are in the background in system software that most users don't know about, but this is working to their benefit now. So big advantages in Macintosh integration of these formats.
So Mark, with a built-in CD-ROM drive, is this Apple's multimedia machine?
No, it really isn't. We look at the whole Macintosh family as being quite multimedia capable, from the Quadras as high-end authoring systems to the mid-range for viewing, and even the new Powerbooks for multimedia on the go. Because really the message that Apple is trying to send is that we want to break this chicken and egg cycle, where developers say, we're not going to put titles on CD-ROM because there's not enough hardware out there. And we say, as Apple, well, we're not going to deliver hardware because there's no software on CD-ROM out there. Apple is taking the stance that we want to promote the use of CD-ROM, and so we're going to heavily promote the 2VI and 2VX with built-in CD-ROM capability, and we expect a lot of really good software to follow.
These are the latest ideas. This is sort of our best way to deal with this. Subtle but exotic.
Yeah.
It could get scooped more, right? Oh yeah, right. We do have to talk about contrast and brightness.
That's right.
Glowing.
Right.
-5, +15. When you zero it out, it goes kind of click. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so not only are we really excited about these new mid-range CPUs, but we also have a matching, new, exciting, lower-priced mid-range monitor as well. And that monitor is the new Macintosh Color Display.
When you say new, does this mean that it's going to replace what we've got now?
Yeah, that's right. It replaces the Apple high-resolution color display.
So it's just a 13-inch.
Really, we think the industry has come to a standard of calling 640 by 480 displays 14-inch. And we'll do the same with this monitor. This is the same Sony Trinitron tube that you're used to seeing, so it has the same picture quality. But if you look inside this transparent model that we've got here, if you looked inside the Apple high-resolution display, you'd see 6 boards inside, and we've actually reduced this down to a single board. So it's actually a brighter CRT. That's not from the picture tube, but from the newly designed electronics from Apple.
You know, Mark, I really like this monitor. Is it multi-sync?
No, for Macintosh, it doesn't need to be. Multisync is kind of an artifact of a myriad of video standards that are on DOS and Windows platform. For Macintosh, it's really plug and play. So we don't feel that we need to burden our customers with the added complexity and cost of multisync. It also has new ergonomic features. You'll notice the integrated tilt and swivel base. And this meets the international requirements, the ISO requirements for tilt and swivel or articulation of the display so that it can be positioned in the most comfortable way. And the contrast and brightness controls are located right up front now, so you don't have to reach around to get to them.
That's useful, but what about the emissions?
Actually, this meets the SWEDAC standards, the toughest standards in the world.
That's great.
For both electrical and magnetic emissions.
But I also have to compete in my markets with low-cost VGAs flooding in from the overseas. What do I tell my customers?
Well, to start with, we've got a really great low price on this product, and then also all the Apple quality reliability is all built in.
But when you say the quality and reliability, how does it really rate to VGA?
Well, as you know, Macintosh monitors have consistently been rated #1 in magazines, publications, and we expect that to continue. And we don't feel that Macintosh customers are going to trade off for a second-rate VGA monitor, the kind of quality and performance they've come to expect in Macintosh. So we're really excited about this new monitor because we think it's a perfect complement to these new CPUs in the mid-range to have a new lower price color monitor with all the performance that you come to expect to match those products.
2 years ago when I started my film business, the Classic was perfect for me. What I really need now is color graphics and a heck of a lot more speed.
You know, Mark, I've got a lot of customers who have entry-level machines. They need to upgrade. It sounds like this is the machine they should be looking at.
Yeah, well, Paul, we think you're right. We know that 60% of Macintosh customers upgrade to a new, more powerful Macintosh after just 2 years. And we think the mid-range of the product line is ideally suited for that kind of customer.
Sounds like you need to upgrade.
I really need to upgrade.
Hi, I am Mark Auerbach, and I am with Desktop Product Marketing. But today, in addition to 2 new CPUs, I'm going to be introducing you to a new Macintosh Color Display and a new CD-ROM drive. So let's get started. First of all, as you know, with the Macintosh Classic, we've introduced literally millions of new customers to Macintosh. In some cases, in many cases, their first experience with computing. And that's been highly successful with the Classic and now the Classic 2. In the case of the high-end, we have the Quadra line of products, and that's been for use in high-end desktop publishing, people who are doing color separations on the desktop, engineering applications, very popular in the higher ed market. And in the mid-range of the product line today, we have the Mac 2 line, and we loosely describe that as the LC2, the 2SI, and the 2CI. And what I'm here to introduce you to is 2 new computers that expand the range of offerings in that product line to give our customers more choices and more products to choose from. Introducing the Macintosh 2VX and 2VI, 2 new, fast, flexible Macintosh computers. Now, it might be interesting for you to know that 5 out of 8 customers today are computing on a Macintosh Classic form factor. And by that we mean not just the Macintosh Classic or Classic 2, but also Mac Pluses, SEs, SE30s. We also know that 60% of those customers upgrade to a new, more powerful Macintosh after just 2 years. And so what are they upgrading to? What do they want in a new computer? Well, they want to be faster, they want better video support, and they want a lot of flexibility because they've seen technology change and they want to be able to keep up. So how do these new computers rank in that department? Well, in terms of speed, the 2VI is 4 times the speed of a Macintosh Classic, and the 2VX is 7 times the speed of a Macintosh Classic. Now, not only do they have that performance level, accelerator slot, a little dead spot there, they have an accelerator slot that allows them to augment the performance by use of, for example, a Daystar cache or Power Cache, or perhaps a Tokamak 40 card, so that you can upgrade the performance incrementally. But more exciting, for the first time ever, we are pre-announcing a migration path to 040. As you know, we have had a very, very strong upgrade path in the past, from the original 128 to the 512 to the Mac Plus, from a CX to a CI to a Quadra 700. And we wanted customers buying these products today to have the same assurance that they would be able to upgrade in the future. So these products will be able to be upgraded to 040, full logic board upgrade to 040 in the future. As far as video support goes, these products support 8-bit per pixel from the motherboard, and they can be upgraded to support 16-bit. 16-bit is very important for viewing QuickTime movies, because QuickTime is optimized for 16-bit level, and for viewing photographs such as Photo CD. For most customers looking at most images, looking at an image in 16-bit will be indistinguishable from that of 24-bit, but there's a very big difference between 8 and 16-bit, and we'll show that to you later. In addition, because these are VRAM-based video systems, there's virtually no performance penalty for using color. I think that's the first applause for VRAM. These machines are nothing if they're not flexible. I'm sure you can see up here that we have the traditional SuperDrive slot. Behind this bezel, you can't see it, but there's a room for a 3.5-inch half-height device, and that means from Apple up to 400 megabyte drive today. And in addition, down here, a new slot, which we call 5.25-inch removable media bay. And that can be used for a lot of different devices. For example, tape backup system, or it could be used for SideQuest. We expect heavy use with SideQuest drives. But probably most exciting from a Macintosh customer's point of view is that for the first time ever, Apple will offer CD-ROM as a factory option. And thank you. In addition to the 5.25-inch capability, these machines have 3 new bus slots, just like 2CI. And they also have 4 megabyte of DRAM, expandable to a total of 68 megabytes. So certainly a lot of flexibility in terms of configuration and storage. So let's look at these machines in particular. The 2VI is a 16 megahertz 68030. At 4 times the performance of Classic, we think it's a great upgrade for a person who's using that computer today because it gives them the performance increase they want, it gives them a lot more flexibility, and great color support. In this case, the FPU is optional. In the case of the 2VX, it's achieved 7 times the performance of a Classic by using a 32 megahertz 68030, and it has the FPU soldered, so it's standard. And it also has a 32 KB cache on board. Now, I mentioned to you that we'd be showing you a new color monitor. And in fact, what you see sitting on these new machines is the Macintosh color display. It is a brand new monitor, although it uses the same Trinitron tube. So we achieve the same benchmark quality that we've had all along. When magazines do reports on 640 by 480 monitors, they typically rate ours as the standard for performance, and we expect that to continue. In fact, thanks to Apple engineering, we've improved the brightness by 50%. So you actually get a better picture than you did before. We've added new ergonomic features, including upfront brightness and contrast, and power, so you no longer have to lean around the side of it. And you've heard a lot of support for international features. ISO requirements are very important. You'll notice an integrated tilt swivel base. And this meets ISO requirements for tilt and swivel 5 degrees forward, 15 degrees back. And it also has a unique auditory feedback system that allows you to know exactly where you've positioned the monitor. Just kidding. It's actually quite smooth and moves very fluidly. Now, not only is this svelte, integrated, aesthetically pleasing base nice to look at, but it also lowers the center of gravity, so it's virtually impossible to tip over. So if any of you have a high-resolution display on a monitor stand, I'm sure you'll want to rush out and replace it. Now, we added all this performance, added all these great new features, and we lowered the SRP to a shattering $589. How did we do it? Oh, I'm glad you asked. We achieved this by using not only Apple design and engineering, but a lot of folks worked very hard in the design center in Singapore to lower the manufacturing costs and we are manufacturing this product in our Singapore facility. So this is Apple designed, Apple manufactured, Apple engineered. In fact, we reduced the logic board complexity from 6 logic boards down to a single logic board design. So thanks to Apple. Now, I mentioned the CD-ROM configurations come with some special features. And in fact, all CD-ROM configurations of the 2VI and 2VX shipping worldwide will ship with 5 megabyte of DRAM. And that's because we wanted to ship very usable systems, and lots of CDs have a minimum of 5 megabyte to run. We also ship with a full 1 megabyte of VRAM, so that people can experience looking at multimedia titles like QuickTime movies and photo CD at 16-bit and have a really superb impression of looking at photography on a computer for the first time. We also have stereo sound playthrough, so the compact disc digital audio CDs that you buy from Tower Records can be plugged in and played out in stereo over headphones or speakers. And in addition to that, we've bundled a number of CD-ROM titles. So each Brazil worldwide, Brazil is the code name by the way, each 2VI, 2VX shipped worldwide will ship with this binder that contains a Macintosh Games demo sampler. You'll be able to see these over at City Center 4 this afternoon. Also an application sampler. And we're including some real titles, not just samplers. But From Alice to Ocean was done by Rick Smolin. You may know him from the Day in the Life books. He did one about a trip across Australia. The Voyager Interactive Mozart CD. Cinderella from Discus Books. And also an introduction to Nautilus, so people can get a flavor for using interactive services on CD-ROM. We're also including something from Apple Pacific Marketing called Chronicle, which is an Apple newspaper that will cover QuickTime mostly in its first issue. The Apple CD-ROM title sampler, which ships with a current external drive. In Europe, they will ship a Euro CD, and in addition will include a sample of photo CD. So it's not like looking at pictures of your own family, but at least you get to see how it works. And we'll demonstrate that for you in a minute. Now, the drive that we're shipping as the CD-ROM drive is not just the external 150 drive that we just recently announced, but actually a brand new drive called the Apple CD300i. And this drive has 2 really important features from a Macintosh customer's point of view. One is it's double throughput. And that means it raises the performance level of CD-ROM from that of a sluggish external peripheral to something that's really quite high speed and very usable. In fact, you can think about it for launching applications directly now. And in fact, both these machines support bootable CD-ROM. So that in the future, people could create disks that can boot directly from CD-ROM. The other important feature, which Kip alluded to earlier, is the photo CD support. Now, Kip said that you can go in, and indeed today, you can go in and take your film and have it developed into not just slides, prints, and negatives, but also a CD-ROM of those images. And you can put up to 100 images on a single CD-ROM, but you don't have to put them all on at once. You can take in a roll of 36 exposure film, take back the CD, and bring it back later and add additional rolls or images to the CD. Every time you add additional images, you add sessions or create new sessions on the disk. Only new hardware like the Apple CD300i can read successive sessions or new sessions. So that this multi-session capability is very important to the support of Photo CD. So those are the feature sets, and we'll give you a demo of Photo CD here in a minute. Starting on Monday, in Europe and Pacific, you'll be able to buy the Macintosh 2VX and the Macintosh 2VI. And on Monday, you'll be able to buy the Macintosh 2VX in the US, on top of, as you already know, some price reductions on the Macintosh 2SI and 2CI. So the 2VX in the US forms the top of the Macintosh 2 line. What, you may ask, has happened to the 2VI in the US? Well, as Fred was mentioning earlier, we introduced to really quite favorable and critical acclaim the Performa line on September 15th of last month. And in fact, one of those models, the Performa 600, is a model that fits in between the 2VI and the 2VX. And that model actually was featured on both the cover of Macworld and Mac User magazine. In fact, Mac User said why Performa is the easiest Macintosh to buy ever. So it's already been widely heralded as a product. And in the US, we are pursuing our opportunities in the consumer channel by offering the Performa 600 through that channel. So it occupies the space of the 2VI in the US market. It's not that the consumer channels don't exist outside the US, it's just that at this time, Apple is not yet able, and I underscore yet, able to take advantage of them, but stay tuned. Well, let's try a little demo of Apple Photo CD. As we mentioned, we've done some special things to help customers work with Photo CD. Now, when you go in and put 100 images on a CD-ROM, each image is, in fact, is stored at 5 different resolutions. And you saw Kip playing with a really high-resolution version. Well, when you put 5 resolutions of 100 images on a disk, that's 500 documents. Each of those are conveniently labeled on a Photo CD, 01, 02, 03. Actually pretty difficult to navigate through. Instead, we've changed the way the Finder reacts to Photo CD. And I've got one in the drive here. And when I open it up, rather than seeing document icons, I see that my photos have been neatly organized into a Photos folder, and I see a new document and a new application. When I open up the Photos folder, I see they've been neatly organized by resolution. Further, when I open up any particular resolution, I don't just see 01, 02, 03, I see small thumbnail images of each photograph right in the Finder. Now I can double-click on any of those images and open it up. Now, if I just brought this machine home, I don't know anything about Studio 32 or Photoshop. You can see that it's opening in TeachText. Why is that? TeachText doesn't know anything about Kodak's proprietary compression format. Well, it's because QuickTime, in the background, is decompressing on the fly from Photo CD's format to PICT. And PICT is understood by virtually all Macintosh applications. This is a really good example of using QuickTime as a standard decompression mechanism, not just a device for playing back movies. Now, I could open up each one of these images one at a time, but that could become pretty tedious. So instead, it might be really convenient to view them as a QuickTime movie. So I double-click on this new little document. And this is not provided by Kodak. This is new software from Apple. And I can now view the entire contents of the disk, even a multi-session disk, as simply a QuickTime movie. And because these are picked images, and if we can switch to the other machine, because these are picked images, I've opened one up here in Photoshop. I can manipulate them the way any Photoshop image is manipulated as picked. And in this case, you know, I'm sure you're all quite aware that motorcycling is a very dangerous sport. And you have to be very careful how you drive. So that I can manipulate these images directly. And Kip, I promise you I'm not the one who took the legs off that woman. I'm going to fill in a little background here. So you can imagine what fun you can have with your own personal library of photographs.
It's interesting how reality always eclipses science fiction. For instance, in 1979, I wrote a story about a kind of electronic book. It was a kind of travel companion, guide, galactic encyclopedia, all wrapped up into one. And it had lots and lots of tiny little buttons and a tiny little screen and contained millions of pages of information. So how did you actually use it? Well, I hadn't actually thought that out properly, so in the end, I just thought, what the heck, and put the words, "Don't panic," on the cover. Fortunately, I now have a much clearer picture of what a notebook-sized computer should and shouldn't be. The Hitchhiker's Guide was modelled on two things that were familiar to me, the pocket calculator and the book. Now, when personal computers came along, they too, or at least the good ones, were modelled on something familiar, the desk. Why? Well, that's where people traditionally worked.
Seasonal temperatures, we should reach our normal high of about 82 degrees by this afternoon.
Now, there are a lot of wonderful things you can do with a desktop computer. But not everybody works at a desk all the time. There's a whole world out there, things to do, people to see, and work that simply can't take place at a desk. So what are we supposed to do? Leave the computer behind? Take a different computer? Wouldn't it be great if we could just take the same one? Wouldn't that be fabulous?
Okay, Mike. Now this is the layout we talked about last week.
Right.
But while I was working on it, I came up with this idea.
Ah, interesting. But what about the capacity?
Actually, I can get in 12 more seats.
I like it. Okay, let me think about it.
Fabulous.
Most portables are nothing more than shrunken desktops. They simply let you do the things you do at a desk somewhere else. Now that we've taken our personal computers off the desktop, our ideas of what we do with them have got to move beyond the desktop as well.
Hi, Andrew. This is Marla. Hey, I just found the perfect detail for the portico. I'll fax it to you tonight.
When you start carrying a truly personal computer everywhere you go, it becomes an extension of your life. So, when an idea comes to you, you don't have to scratch it on the back of an envelope as a reminder to deal with it later. You can just do it now.
Hi, Marla. This is Gerald. You probably don't remember me, but
Marla, hi, it's Mike. Hey, I know you're in Boston tomorrow, but is there any way you can fax me those new layouts tonight? Thanks.
Despite reports to the contrary, not all writers are social recluses. I've had the good fortune to work with some amazing people all around the world. And with a Powerbook, it's remarkably easy to stay in touch. I can be at my home in the south of France and download a file from a Mac in my office in London and fax it to my publishers in New York. All I need is this.
So, where's the presentation?
I'm putting it in your drop folder as we speak.
Oh. Okay, there it is. So this is the new pitch.
Yeah, what do you think?
Much better. This is great. But Jared, these guys are ready to sign. I need more than just capabilities.
Hey, listen, I gotta catch a flight.
But when I get to Los Angeles, I'll send you our track record of completions and the cost comparisons. They'll be in your folder by 1 o'clock.
Okay, it's just that...
What?
I just wish we could show them the Harborview project. It would really nail this deal.
You know what? I think it's on the new site's video.
Great. How do I get it?
Well, Carol's working on it right now. I'll see what she can do. Oh, geez, Kevin, look, I really gotta go. Bye.
I'll be fine, really.
Any chance you can get Kevin that video by 1:30?
What?
What about 2:30?
What time does he present?
3.
Perfect. Carol? Kevin, hi, it's ready. Did you get Jerry's charts?
Got him.
Good. The video clip is on the media server.
Great.
Kevin, break both legs.
Thank you, Carol.
Bye.
Everyone claims they can cut costs. Of course, the only way to really gauge the savings in time and money is by the quality of the building. And that You can see here. This is the Harbor View Park, scheduled to open in 1992. What we have planned is a wide-scale approach.
To be truly useful as collaborative tools, portable computers should let you communicate easily with other computers, no matter where you are. I mean, what good is a portable computer if it's a major hassle to access your own network?
So, I hear he got a portable computer. With his own money. Why? The company would give him one. He travels enough. He wanted a Mac. You're kidding. We're a DOS shop. How's he going to read our files? He can't tap into the network, right? No way. He can't access the mainframe, or the database, or the printers. So, what's he going to work on? His resume? So, a new toy.
Yeah.
That our database?
Mm-hmm.
You're on the network.
I can access the LAN, tap into the mainframe, send email. There's just one thing that keeps bugging me.
What?
This is so easy. Why do you guys put up with what you've got?
Well,
It's amazing how much information there is out there today. It's easy to get overloaded. But imagine using a notebook computer to gather that information quickly and easily, no matter where it exists. In this new digital world of ours, sound, video, text, graphics, color, music, all become accessible as sources of information that can be used to communicate ideas and gain a better understanding of the world around us. And when information is easy to access, you feel free to use it creatively. So you can begin to express ideas not just with words, but with images and sounds as well. So it's really giving us a new way to learn and to communicate.
I'm sorry.
You done?
No, I just thought I'd find a shady tree somewhere and finish writing.
Sure beats spending Saturday here.
Or Sunday.
Technology has done a real number on fiction. I mean, 5 years ago, this stuff was just pure fantasy. Now my first book has been published on one, and I'm writing my next book on one. But perhaps the most intriguing thing is that everything we've just seen isn't science fiction. This is all happening right now. People are doing it all around us. So I guess you could say that these little mobile assistants really have changed the way we work and live, letting us create lifestyles that are more personal and more enjoyable. It makes me wonder what kind of incredible stuff we're going to have in our hands just a few years from now. I think fiction is going to have a hard time keeping up.
You know, when you talk to a customer, they'll tell you they want certain things.
You know what I really want?
What I really want is...
What I really want is more memory, more hard drive space, a faster processor.
I wake up in the morning, I turn on the coffee pot, and then I turn on the financial news, and then I turn on this machine.
I always expect Apple to be one step ahead of their competition. The Powerbook proved that. Now, if they've improved on the Powerbook, I'm excited about actually getting one.
So who am I? I'm Bruce Cooper. I'm the Powerbook product manager. It's been a great year. Your readers and many of your own magazines have been honoring these products as some of the best products this year. If you take computer editors all the way through design community, the Powerbooks have been receiving sort of accolades, acclaim, and sort of recognition as a breakthrough product.
Now, do they have it all worked out?
Est-ce que c'est le temps d'acheter un Powerbook maintenant?
It's not all worked out, right?
When can I get one? How can it be better? I don't know.
What do you do to make the best better?
I thought this was the best.
The Powerbook's incredibly successful in Europe, certainly from our experience, but what about worldwide?
We sold, to date, over 300,000 units.
Okay.
That just shows, I think, that the decisions we made around Powerbook design have really been accepted by customers.
All the things we've been saying in terms of ergonomics, communications like Apple Talk Remote Access, all of those remain true?
Absolutely. All those remain true. I mean, you know how to sell the Powerbook today. I think your colleagues will find that those stories and the ways they position the product are still true. We've taken these new products and enhanced them so they're even better for our customers.
Make it faster.
More memory.
I'd make it lighter, which I'm sure they will sooner or later.
More of that memory thing.
The last bit of PC envy is the battery. So bring me a nice long battery, but I'm sure you will.
In our customer surveys, the things that they most often tell us they want are greater performance, more storage, and more memory. And so introducing the first product which delivers on those requests is the Powerbook 145. It is essentially greater performance, the performance of a Powerbook 170, the top of our line last year, with a 140 screen. Customers continually want Apple to push the quality of the displays, and they want us to provide video out. Video out was a very important feature to customers. And so introducing products which will deliver on those features, I'd like to introduce the Powerbook 160 and the Powerbook 180. These products deliver on the full suite of customer requests. Better displays, providing video out, greater performance, more storage, and more memory. The Powerbook 160. It's a 25 megahertz product. It comes also with grayscale. This case is a Super Twist screen. It's about 4.5 times the performance of a Classic. This is, again, essentially the performance of a 170, very much like the performance of a 145, but with all the added features. Top-of-the-line product, Powerbook 180. It has an active matrix screen. It's got about 7 times the performance of a Classic. It's like a CI in your briefcase, only 35% faster.
We've got the 100, the 140, the 145, the 170, the new products, the Macintosh Duo.
Oh, it's much simpler. It's much simpler. We look at the 145 as replacing the 140, and I think you've already seen that happen in a lot of your markets. Additionally, the 160, 180 will replace the 170. Right. So that essentially the lineup for these all-in-one, all the features with you all the time notebooks are going to be the 145, the 160, and 180, with the 160 and 180 having all the video out features that we think will really be compelling to customers.
I'm in control of the game now, and it's not in control of me.
It's an awesome machine.
You know that capability with your car keys, you can clap your hands and find them? I love it. That would be wonderful. You clap your keys and your Powerbook would go, I'm here, I'm in the bedroom or something. Frivolous, but you asked.
This is the Book of Power. In Italian, il libro del potere. I love it.
The only other issue which I come across quite often then is basically in terms of competition, i.e. price, both against DOS notebooks and against Windows on DOS notebooks. What can you tell me about price?
Well, the strategy on price for the product marketing team with the Powerbooks has been to build products that we can offer to the market at competitive prices. Mm-hmm. We like to summarize that as no apologies pricing. Okay. It's very clear that the features we're building in, the rich set of features that are in every Powerbook, are superior to the marketplace. The video out story we have is much better. The general built-in features of the I/O are better. Networking built-in, OS is better.
When I first saw the keyboard, I was appalled, and I said somebody has been standing on their head looking at it backwards because it shouldn't be way up there. But then I realized when I sat on a plane with it that I didn't have to scrunch my arms against my chest, and all the other guys across the way were doing that. And then I said, aha, now I know why they did it this way. So I think it's ingenious.
Excuse me, looking at laptops?
Yeah, I'm looking at laptops.
Would you mind being in a film we're making about new Powerbooks?
No, I don't think you'd want me.
Why not?
Well, I'm kind of a tough customer. Now, there are hundreds of notebooks on the market right now. Why should I get a Mac?
Well, probably because they're the easiest to use notebook on the marketplace. And with all the built-in features that come with a Powerbook, they're probably the best value.
Okay, but why should I pay more money for a Powerbook when I can get a clone with the same memory for less?
Well, there's much more to notebook performance than just memory. If you take into account all the other built-in features with a Powerbook, you're getting a much better value.
If it were truly 8.5 by 11, that would be nice. Though this does fit exactly in my briefcase and leave me room for lots of extras.
Yeah, it's portable, well-designed, compact. It's easy to rip off.
Actually, we thought about that because that's why we put this little security slot here on the back. And using a third-party product, you can lock this down to a desk.
No arm guard?
No arm guard.
Screen is fine. I have no problem at all. I can adjust it to whatever light that I need, and compared to a lot of my other little gadgets that came along, including my watch, this screen is way better than that.
Is this screen as good as the 170? Because I heard that's really great.
Right, the 170 screen is really good. It's an active matrix screen. And this is also an active matrix screen on the 180. It's a grayscale active matrix screen. Additionally, we've improved the product by making it a little bit brighter and adding a shadow mask, which actually gives you that really rich satin look for the blacks, and the whites get a little brighter.
Like color, but I think that's asking a lot and affordable these days.
There are three things that we feel we need to accomplish with color before we can offer it to the public and be able to sell it easily and sell it well the way Apple likes to sell products. The first probably is to be sure that we're delivering color quality that customers are used to on Macintosh.
So 8 bits, no compromise.
Pretty much 8 bits, 256 colors. You know that Windows runs in 4, and that's a little easier to deliver. But I think that if we can get to the 8-bit color, and then behind that create the volume for the screens so that we're not in the position we've been with the 170, chasing demand. Because we are believing that once color hits the market with Macintosh quality, that demand will be significant. And the other issue, which will be very tough to solve, but we must try to tackle, is battery life. Right now, color products are very power hungry. And if we can figure out a way through science, really real science, to get better battery life with color, we'll have a much superior product in the market. So those are the three things we're trying to get to.
99 bottle of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 98 bottle of beer on the wall.
It would be more useful for sales presentations if it had a video out, instead of having to go to a third-party translator to get to a full-size monitor.
By plugging in this end to your Powerbook and this into your Apple monitor, you're able to support video out. So that's a 16-inch Apple monitor, and this is your LCD display, and I'm able to use both at the same time.
What if I wanted to have it in color?
We thought of that, because what seems to us to be important is the ability to support color video out. Take a look. What I'm showing you here is 8-bit color, 256 simultaneous colors shown on the full-size 16-inch Apple monitor, all supported out of your Powerbook.
Got big eyes.
Frogs have big eyes. To us, when we say supporting video out, we think of it as supporting a large range of monitors. That we're able to support the 12-inch black and white monitor, the 12-inch RGB monitor, the new color display from Apple, which is the 14-inch, and the old 13-inch RGB, the 15-inch portrait, and also the 16-inch display. That's a lot of monitors.
What is the upgrade path of the new Powerbooks? Upgrades, very powerful story for Apple.
It's been a very powerful story for Apple, although we've not found the economic model to offer upgrades on these notebooks. So at this point in time, there is not a specific upgrade path from a 140 to a 145 or a 170 to a 180 or a 160 if someone wished.
And now when I bring it to the office, how's it going to work with my Macintosh there?
Well, there's a lot of ways you could move data and files back and forth between a Powerbook and your desktop. Well, not the obvious way is with a floppy, and there was a built-in floppy into every Powerbook.
Okay.
But maybe a little more interesting to us is the fact that we've built in networking, so you can just file share back and forth between your desktop and a Powerbook by simply connecting this Powerbook to your network, built into the product.
Wow.
Additionally, you have the ability to use the SCSI port here, turn this product into a hard disk, and have that work with your desktop Macintosh. In fact, you can link this product to another Powerbook with that same method. Of course, we have a built-in modem slot that allows you to use modem communication. And with Apple Talk Remote, you can dial up your network from home and get to your desktop Mac. So there's lots of ways you can connect the Powerbook to your desktop.
Boy, howdy.
They are very good products, but we still need comparable pricing.
Comparable pricing, I think with local flexibility, you'll be able to see that.
Great.
You know what I really think?
What?
I think it's really very good. But I'm not going to buy it.
Oh, yeah?
You know, when I bought it, I said, well, you can already see the next generation. Not only will it have a better battery, but it'll get lighter and lighter and thinner and lighter and smaller and all the rest, and then it'll unfold, and I'll be able to put it in my back pocket. And you can just see in every one of my 6 Apple computers now the future, and I see more future here. But happily, I feel like I can hang on and have a good time until that future arrives.
first, right away, let me show you what we're doing. It's been a great year to be the Powerbook product manager. In fact, it's a year in which we've been so successful that one of the things that we had to learn how to do was to give acceptance speeches to awards. I didn't get to do that. Bruce G., who introduced the Powerbook, got to do that. But the real point is that in a crowded field with thousands of models from hundreds of vendors, the Powerbooks have risen to the top. They are very clearly one of the most regarded products in the industry. If I don't plug that in, my slides don't advance. Where did that recognition come from? Well, first off, it came from the computer industry. The editors and readers of computer magazines looked at the Powerbooks and said, one of the supreme products of the year. But in addition, the business community, through Business Week and Fortune and Financial London Times, took a look at the Powerbooks and called it one of the products of the year. The development and product design community took a look at the product and said, the choices Apple made in designing the product are really gold medal worth. And that's why in Europe and in the US, we've received industrial design awards. In fact, as product of the year, the right way to think of this is this has pushed Apple to one of the market leaders. You heard Fred say that it's one of the top, or not the top market share notebook product in the US. That's an achievement in 1 year. Monday, we're introducing the Powerbook 160 and the Powerbook 180. They will have improved screens, as you can see here. On this side, we have a Powerbook 160, which has got a 16-level grayscale screen. And here we have the Powerbook 180 with an active matrix 16-level grayscale screen. To both those products, we're adding flexible video out, which we think will profoundly change the way customers are able to make use of their Powerbook. In addition, we're giving them greater performance. The Powerbook 180 will be a 33 megahertz 030 with an FPU resident. Its performance will rival that of the VX you just heard about. The Powerbook 160 will be a 25 megahertz product. We're giving you more storage. We're giving you more storage because we're shipping you with a 120 megabyte drive. More memory, because more memory means 4 megabytes wired down. The memory slot is open for expansion. Expansion, 14 megabytes worth of expansion. PSRAM expansion up to 14 megabytes, which will allow customers to use RAM disk to extend their battery life. We've added a security slot, so now you can lock down your Powerbook and walk away from it confidently. We've added SCSI disk mode, the feature found on the 100. That'll allow you to turn your Powerbook into a SCSI disk on another Macintosh, be it a Powerbook or a desktop Mac. And we built in the microphone. I told you performance is one of the things that customers were expecting. If you ask them, they always want more performance. They don't want just more speed of the clock. They want total system performance improvement. And that's what we're delivering with the 160 and the 180. In fact, we delivered that with the 145 as well. But on the 180, it's 7 times the performance of a classic. It's the same type of performance you'd see on the VX. The Powerbook 160 is 4.5 times the performance of a classic. That exceeds the performance of the VI. Now, I told you more storage. Obvious way to give more storage, larger hard disk. But there's a subtle story, and I want to point it out to you. If you take a competitive product, you take a DOS notebook product, you put Windows on there, you put DOS on there, it takes 12 megabytes to get that on a disk. Macintosh 7.1 with QuickTime 1.5 on there is under 5 megabytes on a Powerbook. The story gets more interesting. Yeah. Now the story gets more interesting because operating systems need applications to become useful. So you add the applications, not esoteric applications, Persuasion 2.1, Word 5, Lotus 1.2.3. And the difference is, again, about a 2x difference if you load it out of the box with all the recommended installation requirements. You load the products up. What does this mean? What it means is on a 40 megabyte drive in a Windows product, you have no space to work. But on a Macintosh, you got 20 megabytes of usable space. We think that the improvement that has been able to be engineered into the new PowerBooks, the enhanced series of all-in-one PowerBooks, that's going to make the most difference to the way our customer use the product is video out. So I'd like to show you what that is. What we have here is a PowerBook 160. It's got a Photoshop image up on the screen. And that's the first thing. The ability to drive an external monitor is what video out is all about. 16 levels of gray, 16 levels of gray. But what customers really wanted to see was the ability to show externally 256 colors simultaneously. Now, the other thing customers told us was, wouldn't it be great if we could make use of all your monitors? So one of the things that we did implement is the ability to support the 16-inch monitor in 256 colors as well. What's been done is engineered into the daughter card has been all of the logic, 512K of VRAM, and all of the logic off of a 4.8 NuBus card without the NuBus logic. And you build that into the back, and you ship it with an adapter to attach to the standard Macintosh monitor. So you just plug them in, and you're up and running. Now, the story on video, if we go back to the slides, the story on video is threefold. First off, it's more monitors than the competition typically support. Not only are we going to support Macintosh monitors in a full range, but we support SVGA and VGA in up to 256 colors. 256 colors is not the standard competitive mode. Standard competitive mode is 16 colors or 4-bit. But you watched me use both these monitors. When I was working over here, the same thing was happening on both screens. We've implemented a new video mode. It's called video mirroring. It's the ability to see what's on the external monitor the same as on the internal monitor, except it's in color. And the slide shows something else that we think will make customers quite happy. We've always shipped the PowerBooks with an ADB port. But now the ADB port with an external monitor creates that temporary desktop setup you see in the picture. Now, the other video monitor mode that we've got is dual display. That's the typical one. That's what we all use when we use more than one monitor. Nobody else does that in the industry. This is terribly useful when you're working at home, and the video mirroring mode is very useful for delivering a presentation. The story on our video out, why is it more compelling? More monitors, in more colors, in more ways of working than any of the competition can deliver. So 1 year later, we're delivering an enhanced series of PowerBooks. The 3-month-to-market product, the PowerBook 145, the PowerBook 160, and 180. This is the lineup that we think will help customers meet needs that we've not been able to get to before with this all-in-one design. In fact, we think that the product is important to show one thing. Everybody else today is delivering their presentation off a Quadra 700. Not me. PowerBook 160, 4 megabytes of memory, Persuasion 2.1, 40 megabyte hard drive, driving the slides you've seen. That's what's going to change the way people use PowerBooks. With all the success we've had this year, one of the reasons we think we're going to be successful this next year is we spent time with our customers, those who bought, those who didn't buy, understanding what they were looking for. And what has become very clear to us is that there isn't just one type of notebook customer. So stay seated, stay tuned, because you're going to hear more.
Love to have a PowerBook, you know, then I could take my work home with me. But I don't know, transferring all those files,
it's a bore.
So what if I lost something? I just want it to be easy.
Ich habe an PowerBook für die Vertreter gedacht, aber 2 Computer für jeden Angestellten ist einfach viel zu teuer.
Sometimes when I'm with a client, I realize I left my files at the office. I hate that.
Le keyboard c'est un peu trop petit.
Aussi l'image est un peu trop petite aussi au bureau.
C'est ça, oui.
Oui.
People spend a lot of money on notebook computers, and they want to know that this investment is going to go as far as it can. They don't want to have to buy 2 machines. So Toshiba, Compaq, other competitors have recognized this, and I think Apple will do well to recognize it as well.
The customer's saying, hey, what I want is to be like a desktop. In the morning, I don't want to come in and reconfigure for my network and my monitor and run these special utilities and run the drivers and all the software. I don't want to deal with all that. What I really want is the best of both worlds, because I want the benefits of the desktop world and the benefits of a notebook world in kind of one system. And that really drove our vision to develop the Duo system.
This system really came out of thinking about the users and thinking about how they like to use things.
How simply and easily could somebody come along with their portable after their long trip to Dallas or wherever, come back and connect all the information and work they've done on the road into their desktop system.
I can use QuickTime, I can do applications in the background, has the kind of performance I'd expect from a desktop. The difference here is now I can come over and press this button on the side, and what you'll see is a dialog come up that says, hey, wait a minute, save changes. In this case, I didn't like the changes I made, so I'll go ahead and quit. And then you'll see that it goes ahead and turns off and ejects out a 4-pound Powerbook.
I think getting a machine which is of an FX class, this small, that runs on batteries is just phenomenal.
A lot of this styling is very difficult to achieve in a small compact package. It's real easy to do in washing machines and desktop machines, but when you start sucking the air out of the product like we've done, it's impossible to get gratuitous features in here just for styling and still maintain a tight package.
It's a very clean design. We spent a lot of time making everything come out the back. A lot of other vendors make doors in the side, so you have doors falling off and cables coming in all over the place. We have rubber bumpers along the edge here, a rounded design up front. This is one of Apple's best strong suits, is where our ability in product design and plastics comes through. We can really do a lot of these complex shapes that a lot of other people can't do, and they stick to very hard edges.
It also adds a certain level of excitement when you own this product. You'll look at it after a couple of weeks and you'll start noticing that there's a little bit more to it than just a plain box.
So that's just on the outside. Let's take a look inside, because this is great stuff. Two models, the Powerbook Duo 210 and Powerbook Duo 230. Both are 68030s, one at 25 megahertz, one at 33, 4.25 pounds, 1.4 inches thick, or thin, actually, I like to say. That thin.
The board comes standard with 4 megabytes of RAM on board, and then we have a 4 and 8 meg RAM card, which simply plugs in right here. We have a new modem technology on the Powerbook system, which also plugs in pretty easily like this.
Very small design. If you look at any competitive modem, for example, the compact LTE light modem, it's twice this size. We had to do a lot of work to really shrink it down to this size, to fit in this form factor, to get it down in 4 pounds, and implement a whole new architecture to really shrink it.
All the machines on the marketplace today tend to warp as you open and close the machines. So what we did was we came up with the concept of stiffening the machine with a very strong, lightweight material, magnesium.
So when you pick it up and do this, it feels real tough. You get a lot of structural stiffness to it. Plus, you get this kind of continuous force coming through the display like that, because we can implement a whole new assembly with the magnesium frame.
We know that magnesium is a very good conductor of heat, so we added a small thermally conductive rubber pad on the bottom here, which sits right on top of our processor.
And just sucks up all the heat, dissipates it out, so your machine stays at good operating temperature. There's an extensive reliability engineering effort behind the scenes to make sure that the product works day in and day out for you. We have environmental testing where we test it in low temperature, high humidity. We have shock and vibration testing to really shake it.
You have to test things like hinges. You don't have those on desktop machines. You don't have to design a desktop machine to fall off the desk and still work.
What I would love to have would be some kind of a magic function, if you will, where imagine I just got back from a trip and I push just one button and I say, transfer all and dock to my machines.
I don't want to hurt your feelings, Dave, but my customers and the competition is going to say, this stuff's old hat. We've been there.
Yeah, I think that's easy to come back against, because all they have to really offer is just hardware, just expansion. This is the compact LTE in their expansion base, or what they call their expansion base. Their eject button is right here, so let's go ahead and eject that. There we are. Now, instantly saved it, right? The mechanical lever says, hey, you're in control. You want out of there? You're out of there. I'm not talking to anybody about it. You're out. I'm on my own. I'm independent. That's what the mechanical does for you.
When you take this and you put it inside a box, you don't want to feel that you're damaging this in any way. We're trying to connect to analogies that people have in the outside world. You know, Dave's always been talking about the VCR tape goes into the VCR, it sucks it in a beautifully sexy way, and when you press a button, it just goes out to you and delivers it to you to your hands.
The demand is out there more for the best of both worlds, rather than just what they have to offer, which is hardware focused at just expansion for a notebook, and that's only a small, narrow piece.
So you mean we focused on the end user?
We focused, yes, more on the end user with PowerLatch and the integration. They focused on, can they sell more hardware?
Is PowerLatch part of the mechanics of it? Is that how it works?
Well, that's part of it. Part of it is the single point connection where the motor kicks in, pulls it, but it's also all of the hardware and underlying system software that automatically senses the fact that you have cards in here, NuBus cards in here, that you have a math coprocessor in here, that you have a larger video display with more color depth.
It's a single-step process. It's maybe a single-hand process. It's something you don't have to think about. It just happens.
How long before I have to recharge the battery?
Depends on how you use the machine. You'd find a range from 2 to 4.5 hours depending on how bright you keep the screen, what kind of things you're doing, and the hard drive. In addition, you'll find we made the battery very easy to replace. You can replace it when you're in your Duo dock, it's automatically charging in here, but if you'd like to put a new one in, it just slides right out even while it's running. And then you can go ahead and drop a new one in this easily. And we've done some automatic things for you as well. Automatic screen dimming so that the backlight goes off on the screen, but if you touch anything, it comes right back on. We've also implemented the sleep when closed. We have some software that turns off the microprocessor and subsystems when they're not in use. This is something that the DOS world with the SL just started implementing. We've been doing it for years. And automatic battery charging anytime the AC is in. So if I plug in here, the battery gets charged. If I plug in anywhere else, the battery gets charged automatically.
Increasingly, more people are using the Powerbook for multimedia presentations out in the field, particularly with QuickTime being integrated in the Mac operating system. The ability to display color in a portable environment is going to become increasingly important to people who want to do presentations.
To me, the Powerbook has improved the way I do business. It's as simple as that. So I use it to its best, and I just cannot throw it away and go back to just the desktop today.
We also had customers that said, I may not need all the capability of the Duo dock. I may want some of that desktop functionality like video out and local talk and the rest, but I may not need an integrated hard drive and all the other things. So we developed a second product for those customers that needed a lower entry point, and that's called the Macintosh Duo Mini Dock. It's small, lightweight, portable, weighs about a pound, has all the standard Macintosh I/O, so it has a video connector, so you could connect a large 16-inch monitor like this. And the way it works is you attach just like this, guides in, push down this lever, and then you're ready to go. Have all your cables plugged in, and also gives you elevation.
What about connectivity? When I've only got the CPU, what do I get to connect to?
Well, there's three ways when you just have the CPU to get information in and out. You have the local talk port built in, use System 7 file sharing, a standard serial cable or local talk cable. There's an optional Powerbook Duo floppy adapter that attaches to the Powerbook Duo like this, and then you can connect up an external floppy disk drive to read and write Macintosh and MS-DOS diskettes. And then you have the modem to be able to use Apple Talk Remote Access because it's a high-speed modem, or send receive fax, or dial into an online service and pull stuff off that way or back to your host mainframe. So three ways: local talk, floppy, and modem.
Well, why didn't you just put the floppy drive into the Powerbook Duo? You did with some of the other models.
Well, one of the things that customers asked us to do was to create the smallest, lightest, most powerful Powerbook possible. And we could do that by making the floppy drive external and then allow you to decide when you want to take it and when you might need it, rather than having it built in all the time.
Well, ideally, the best type of machine would almost be a portable desktop, to where you can take a piece of your desktop with you and go into the streets with it.
We have a portable Macintosh. It's easy to use, and it allows people to be creative and do their work anywhere. Now what we need to focus on is addressing the second issues. How do we maximize the connectivity between that portable solution and the rest of the world?
As with all projects, this is such a team effort, but I think one of the great things about this is people look at it and they want it.
Boy, good afternoon. Welcome to everybody. I have the great opportunity today to present the Macintosh Duo system to you, an excellent example of some fantastic innovation, some real aggressive pricing, and some real great customer research. We spent a lot of time out talking to customers while we're developing the current products, and we found some great stuff. First of all, we found, hey, I like using those desktop Macintoshes, so we have a new desktop Macintosh. But it's 16-inch monitor support. People really like the 16-inch monitor support. And you can see, of course, if you have a desktop Mac today, you want to be sure that you're running the Apple ads all the time so you can constantly stay up to speed. And I have my Thrill Cam, you can see there, looking right inside the heart of the microprocessor, making sure it's still beating, going strong. Hardware monitor right there. Occasionally, you want to do something productive. So I have a document open here that I'm editing. So I made some edits, and then I want to go ahead and shut down, so I have a button in the front to shut down. And like a Mac, you'd expect it to say, well, wait a minute, you've modified a document. Don't you want to save it first? Well, that's what you expect from a Macintosh today, but you expect more. In fact, we talked to customers today, and we said, well, I want to do more than that. I want more than just a powerful desktop that does all those kinds of things, great 16-inch monitor support. Wouldn't it be great, they said, if I could take all these files with me when I went home? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if I had the same computer when I went home? Yeah. Wouldn't it be great when I came back I can use the same computer again, no additional cables, no reconfiguration hassle? Wouldn't it be great if I didn't have to buy 29 machines, I could have one all the time, one Mac everywhere? Yeah. Well, you can do that now. Because when I shut down, out the front of my machine comes a 4-pound Powerbook with all the capability. Four-pound Powerbook with all the functionality you saw right there. Same desktop, same files, 25, 33 megahertz, battery, up to 120 meg hard drive, up to 24 megabytes of RAM, performance that starts to beat the 2FX in some tests, and all in 4 pounds, ready to go on the road, new design. Phenomenal engineering. This is the Powerbook Duo 230. Up here I have what you'd expect from a Powerbook today. You have integrated trackball, all new trackball design with, by the way, amazing durability we're putting in the products today. The trackball is designed to be rolled for 50 miles. City Center 4, we're having a contest out front to see who can outroll it. All new keyboard design meets all ISO specifications. Keyboard is designed for each key to be actuated 10 million times. 10 million times. Who types that fast in the audience up here? Integrated speaker, microphone, power on switch, brightness, contrast control, hard drive up here, battery on the side, all new industrial design. You see that real smooth shapes, rubber bumpers are on the side here, smooth in the front. Really starts to show off the overall Apple's real strengths in plastics design. We can do these things different than a lot of other competitors. Around the back, we have elevation like we have on the current PowerBooks, implemented a little bit differently with some flip feet that come down like this here, exposing optional serial port and our new express modem, optional express modem. And then we redesigned the rear door so it doesn't come off ever, so it goes right inside the machine, inside like back there. And the great thing about the product, it's a PowerBook when I'm done doing everything at home or traveling and come right back, and just like putting a tape in a VCR, slide it right in, and it pulls it in the last 3 millimeters because of the motor drive mechanism that's inside the Duo dock here. This is called the Macintosh Duo dock, the base here. Notice it's built to support the 16-inch monitor, 50-pound support. We have an integrated floppy drive, super drive on the side here, optional hard drive, 75-watt power supply to power the CPU, charge the battery, keep it running strong. All the I/O out the back, all the cables, single-point connection. We're the first vendor to do that. Other vendors require you to come here and add extra cables in the side everywhere. We do it all at one point. On the side over here, we have support for 2 NuBus slots, full-length NuBus cards, and a built-in security key so you can lock your PowerBook in when you go away for the evening, or you can also lock others' ones out if you'd like as well. This is the Duo dock. This is the outside. Let me give you a little bit of the look on the inside because it's some amazing engineering. I have one open here on the side. This is the inside with the top off. The PowerBook slides in here. You can see this is the logic board for the Duo dock in the back with the motor drive assembly, optional FPU, VRAM, NuBus down the side, fan for the power supply. The CPU slides in here, and you see 2 little guide pins that align the CPU to the Duo dock and 2 hooks that hook on the back of the machine and pull it in. You'll see as I engage it here, pulls it in the last few millimeters, so you get a solid, reliable connection every time. Tremendous mechanical engineering to make it work day in and day out, and unbelievable system software that recognizes when all this hardware leaves and comes back and never affects the user. So they just experience, I got a notebook, desktop, don't have to reconfigure auto-exec files, config.sys files. I can just go between the worlds. Real ease of use. So let's take you on a little bit more tour of the system here. Underneath the hood, you'll see that one of the questions you want to ask is, well, how do you get it this light and this tough? You know, it really feels strong. When you pop the latch there, it pulls up a little bit. The display opens kind of continuously like this, yet it feels real solid and real tough. The way we did that is inside there's an internal magnesium subframe that sits right inside the product like this, and everything attaches to that subframe. And now the plastics start to become more cosmetic. And they really can go much lighter plastics. This gives us much more durability, and you can have a very solid product in 4 pounds. The other thing the magnesium frame gives you is the logic board support. For the logic board that attaches right here, just like this. And you'll notice that this is a 33 megahertz machine, up to 24 megabytes of RAM. That's a hot product. In 2 ways. It's a great product, and it can get real hot, too. You got to think about that from the beginning. You have to think about that from the beginning, and the way we did that is, if you look at the bottom of the magnesium frame, there's some conductive foam here, and that sits right over the top of the microprocessor on a logic board to pull off and dissipate the heat, keeps it at cool operating temperature. You got to think about that from the beginning and really have some great engineering. This is the logic board for the PowerBook Duo 210 and 230. Tremendous manufacturing engineering integration. 400 components on here, 3,500 lines, 6 layers. The code name for this board was Metropolis. Because it's a city. It's literally a city with zoning restrictions everywhere. This is the downtown area. Your serial port's your Empire State Building. You ever think a serial port would be the biggest thing in the computer? 10 millimeter height here, 5 millimeter here, 3 on the bottom, active components, top and bottom. A real work of art to get this kind of performance in this size, deliver it worldwide on introduction day. Great job, team did on this. We've implemented DRAM, 4 megabytes of DRAM on board to get the cost down for the customer even more. And we've also designed some new RAM cards. This is an 8 megabyte RAM card that slides on the side here. Customers will be able to install that by themselves if they like. Much lower than the pseudostatic, so we're really trying to be more cost competitive. If you look at the modem, another tremendous example of integration. This is a 14.4 data modem with send, receive, fax in that form factor, all on that side, clips on the side like this, because we can integrate a lot more of the modem functionality in software now. Now, if you look at that amazing design, compare it to, this is a compact LTE Lite modem. This is their latest modem on the market, 9600 BPS versus our 14.4. It doesn't ship with send, fax, receive. We're 40% less in size, and there's a lot of components on here. I bet this costs a lot more. It costs twice as much as our modem with less features. Another example of integration, lower cost, great job team pulled off on the modem design. For those people that may not need the full functionality of the Duo Dock, we developed another product called the Mini Dock, and that looks just like this. It's a mini version of the Duo Dock that has all the I/O. It clips onto the back of the Powerbook Duo like this, and you have all your connections. So you may use this at home. You have a 16-inch monitor connection, for example. You may use this on the road. Salesforces may buy this for their sales force and share the Duo Dock because you can easily go between the two worlds together. Plus, this is an expansion card in plastic, so you can start to do all kinds of other things. eMachines is building a presentation mini dock that supports TVs. Come connect up your Powerbook and present on TV with convolution. Another great engineering design to get a standardized interface out the back that all other developers have a lot of opportunities now to really develop some new marketplaces only on the Mac. That's a little bit of expansion there. We also did a couple of other things. We developed a smaller product called the floppy adapter if you just want to connect a floppy drive to the back of your CPU, just like this here. An all-new AC supply, 25-watt supply, very small, lightweight, long, real long DC cable, so you can plug it in anywhere. And you can take a regular power cable, Mac 2 worldwide, take one in France, one in the US, plug it in, no problem. So you can go all over the place, probably go here, back to the back wall. And some people may even want to still use the plug it in directly into the wall, so we have a wall mount plug like this, codenamed Duckhead here because you can see So you get kind of the best, either wall or floor, because we found customers that wanted both. Also, a new battery charger, amazing design on the battery charger. This is a new nickel metal hydride battery, slides right in the front of the machine. This is battery charger clips straight onto the AC adapter like this. So you can charge your batteries and run your system at the same time. For those, here's another example of an implementation of the mini dock. This is the mini dock connected to a 13-inch monitor running dual display mode like Bruce talked about. This might be what you use at your desk or home, and this is back at your office here. We've spent a lot of time putting this whole system together. We heard a lot of customers really lay out a key requirement for us on what we should deliver on the system. And most of them summarized it as, you know what this really gives me and what I really needed for a long time is the benefits of a desktop and the benefits of a notebook into one system. We heard a lot of people say that time and time again. They said they want the best of both worlds. We thought that was so compelling of a product vision that we codenamed it Bob W. for best of both worlds, And that's what we came out and developed here. We were thinking about naming it the Macintosh Bob W system rather than Duo system. Hard to localize, though, over in France. They don't know who Bob is. But that's what we're really trying to put together there, Bob W system, because we're the first vendor to do that. The competition hasn't done that. They've focused on building expansion for notebooks. They take a notebook and they say, what's missing? Expansion. Let's add that. All kinds of problems when you have that. They didn't go off to build a Bob W system. And just to show you an example of how we're different, I have some compact equipment here, and they couldn't make it for the demo to do it themselves, so I said, I'll help you out.
Dave, I got to interrupt you for a second. I just wanted to let us know that we're going to be shut off on the satellite. I wanted to say goodbye to Austin and Maud and Campbell, so we won't see you shortly, but continue.
Okay. So we have a compact. This is a compact LTE Lite 25 in their expansion base, and we'll do the same thing I just did over here. I'll make a modification to a document. Okay, so I have a modified document over on the desktop. We'll do the same thing we did over here. I'm ready to leave for the day, so I'll go ahead. Here's their eject button on the side. I'll go ahead and eject it. What happened? It crashed. It burned. You lost everything. They didn't protect you. That's because it's a mechanical interface. Right here, you get this at Toys R Us right down the street. And mechanical interface just says, hey, you're the boss, push on the back of that, you want out of there, you're out of there. Boom, no integration, no, don't need to talk to anybody. Plus, you got this really high density connector here on the back. When you come back to your desk, you got to get back there and you got to wind up like this and push really hard and hope it doesn't fall over. Because you got about 25 pounds of insertion force to mate those two together and hope it all still works, let alone if your auto exec file still recognizes this hardware here. Real difficult when you get into the DOS world. Now, is that a Bob W system? No. That's not a Bob W system at all. The Bob W system that we think is a Bob W system is more something like this. A desktop Macintosh at your desk, a 4-pound Powerbook that you take home with you, and something that we call Power Latch. It's the docking technology that goes between the two. We think that's a Bob W system. We think that's an amazing piece of work.